everyone. Today I will read Dr. King's Memorial. Introduction. A memorial in Washington, D.C. honors Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The memorial has a large sculpture of Dr. King and famous words that he said. The time is always right to do what is right. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Who was Dr. King? And why do we remember him? Dr. King was a great leader. He wanted equal rights for all people, no matter their race or color. The fact. Dr. King grew up in Georgia, a state in the South. In the 1930s, recommendations are common in the South, and many laws were unfair to the black people. The law kept black people and white people separate from each other. Black children had to go to different schools and white children from white children. Black people had to use different drinking fountains from white people. Laws said black people had to sit at the back of city buses. The front seats were only for white people. Black people also rode in different railroad cars than white people. Black people weren't allowed to use the same restaurant as white people. Dr. King's work. Dr. King wanted the unfair law to change. He wanted the laws to treat people of all races equal. He talked to many people about how to change the laws. Hate will never end hate. Only love will end hate. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King wanted to use peaceful ways to make changes. He said there was already too much hate in the world to use violence. Do you know Rosa Parks would not give up her seat at the front of the bus in 1955? She was arrested. People around the country heard about it. Her courage helped change the unfair law. Dr. King and other leaders marched with many people as a peaceful way to fight recommendations. They hoped to get the unfair law changed. They also protected recommendations but peaceful, refused to follow the unfair laws. For example, they held sit-in. They sat at dinner counters where only white people were allowed to sit, refusing to move. Some people were arrested by the police, including Dr. King. New laws. Dr. King worked hard for Dr. King and other leaders worked hard for years. In 1964, the government changed the unfair laws. New laws were fairer. It's now against the law to treat people treat people differently because of their race. Black children and white children can go to the same school. Everyone can sit where they wanted on the bus. Everyone can sit where they want on the bus. The trains, buses, the trains, and in restaurants. Thin water fountains, the restrooms can be used by every race. Dr. King's dream. Dr. King wanted all people to be free under the law. He wanted laws that were fair to people. He dreamed to everyone. He dreamed that people of every color would get along. Today, the are fairer. Today, the laws are fairer, but there is still work to be done. If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. When people visit his memorial, they remember Dr. King and his dream of fair laws and free people. They carry on his work. Glossary. Laws, a rule or set of rules or sets of rules made by a government. Memorial, something that represents the memory of a person, place, things, or event. Peaceful, without visibility, fighting. Prosperous, showed strong disagreement. Recommency, the belief that one race is better than another. Unequal treatment based on such a belief. Separate, set or kept apart. The dragon in the closet. Simon hated bedtime. His pajamas itched, his toothpaste tasted terrible. Most of all, Simon hated when Dad tucked him in and turned out the lights. That's when the dragon that lived in his closet would come. During the day, the dragon was never around. It only came after dark. One night, the closet door creaked loudly after Simon went to bed. The dragon was there. He was sure of it. Simon took a deep breath. He climbed out of bed and raced down the hall. "Dad!" he whispered. "Dad, wake up!" "What is it?" Dad asked. "I have to show you something," Simon says. As soon as they returned to Simon's bedroom, Dad switched on the lights. "Oh no," Simon groaned. "Now I can't show you the dragon. He only comes when it's dark." the dragon? Dad sat on the end of Simon's bed. What dragon? He has big green eyes, Simon said. His breath smells like smoke and his tail is covered with spikes. He lives in the closet. One day he is going to come out and gobble me up. Describing the dragons made Simon's heart beat faster. With Dad there, though, he had nothing to fear. With Dad there, though, he had through. With Dad there through. Thôi đó. Có nghe người ta bảo though. Get through. With Dad there through, he had nothing to fear. At least he thought he didn't. Though old enough. Oh, now I understand, Dad says at last, getting up to leave. Aren't you going back to check the closet? Simon sighed.
Tất cả những cái ED con chẳng đọc nhiều.
No need, Dad said. I'm sure you're right that there was a dragon in there. How do you know? Simon asked. Oh, I had the same kind of problem with a lion under my bed when I was young, Dad says. What do you do? Simon asked, eyes wide. Do you know why so many scary beasts and monsters live under children's closets and their beds? Dad says.
And the bed ở đâu?
And their beds? Dad asked. Under their beds? Dad asked. No, Simon said. Why? Because they're lonely, Dad explained. They really needed a friend. They really just needed a friend to play with. Once I realized that the dragon was lonely, the lion was lonely, we became friends. We had many wonderful adventures together, Dad says as he tucked Simon back in. Simon glanced at the closet door. His heart was still beating fast. Now, though, it was with excitement. Dad gave Simon's shoulder a squeeze. You know, the lion still visits me from time to time, he said. I'll ask him to let the dragon know you would like to be friends. Simon smiled. Thanks, Dad, he says. Good night. Don't forget to turn off the lights. Light. Glossary. Adventure. Unusual or exciting experience. Beast. Animal, especially those that are large or dangerous. Creak. Made a harsh scraping or squeak sound. Excitement. A feeling of joy and exhaustion. Lonely. Feeling alone and sad. Spikes. Thin, pointed object or pieces of something. Bye-bye, everyone.